Welcome to the Jennifer J. Hammond Podcast. Jennifer is a licensed realtor, educator, speaker, and best-selling author. Jennifer's goal is to help you find your yay in every day. Jennifer is grateful for the opportunity to educate, empower, and inspire you with powerful conversations, insights, and new viewpoints. Here's your host, Jennifer J. Hammond.
This is Jennifer Hammond, and I'm so excited. As you know, I love bringing you information that helps you make good decisions in real estate, or in one way or another, just helps you. But today, we're really going to focus on those of you who are in the real estate market right now. What are some of the secrets to selling? It's a very busy market, but we've also found some homes that just stay there. They're just stuck on the market. So I'm excited about this conversation. We are going to have an expert who is going to talk to you about things you might not have thought about before. Her name is Melissa Gabriel. She is the owner of Angel Connection and is a caring professional psychic medium. Yep, that's what I said. Psychic medium, spiritual healer, author, and spiritual speaker. And I should say inspirational speaker. She has been using her abilities for many, many years. In fact, I'll let her tell her story to you. So anyway, first of all, Melissa, welcome to the Jennifer Hammond Show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be on.
Yay! Well, I'm so excited. I want to share, I want to talk about, what people can do to make their house, to help their house, rid it of that negative energy and that kind of stuff. But before we do that, will you share it quickly in a quick way, how you discovered your gifts, because it's unusual. And I think your story is so powerful.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So I have been a medium for 18 years. As I was a child, weird things happened, but when you're a child, you don't realize that things are weird. So I started to look into why I know things without knowing how I know them. And I started taking classes, and then I got really sick. And then I had a miracle healing that happened. To make a long story very short, my liver failed. I was sent to Boston. During the night, I would feel this warmth go across my body. Like all of a sudden, I'm in a bright sun. And they had told my parents they didn't expect me to survive the next 24 hours. But what happened is my liver started to function and heal itself, even though it was completely dead. So it's truly a miracle healing, because the doctors can't explain why I'm still here today. So that led me on this wonderful journey to learn all about energies and to do readings. And my mediumship went from, I kind of hear them and I kind of understand, to holy cow, here they all are.
It's amazing, because I think we have so much more that's around us that's unseen, and so often we just dismiss it. And it's one of the reasons that I wanted to kind of bring it into a realm that is definitely not discussed very often, and that is real estate. And yet in our home, I can't tell you, I've been a real estate agent for almost 23, almost 24 years now. And I've realized that one of the things that often people say when they walk in their house is, oh, that house, it's just got this weird energy here. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because as you know, if I'm representing buyers and we're walking in, there's, that's just the way the house is, and there's not a lot we can do. But if I'm representing sellers, and this has happened before, where we've gotten a few people that will confess and say, the house just has there's something there, and I don't know what it is. And it's not because it's next to a busy street or, it's in the backyard of a prison. It's something about that specific house that just has like some bad energy. So Melissa, what are some things that they can do to actually clear that energy?
So whether your house is, has activity in it, or whether it's just there have been negative people come in and out, everything leaves an energy. So the best thing that you could do is do a cleanse with sage. So you get some sage incense, and you start from the basement and work every corner, every closet, all the way up to the attic if you have one. And while you're doing that, you say, I'm releasing all negative and stagnant energies. Only energies of light and love can enter this house. And that will clear out any energy, whether it was something that you created from an argument a couple of years ago, or whether there's some energies like your spirit relatives coming in and hanging out, that will clear everything out of there.
And talk about the significance of sage. Why sage? I know the Native American Indians have used sage in so many of their very important, I hate to use the word rituals, but in their very important ceremonies that they do. And I know they talk about using sage to clear spirits, if they use the word a lot of times, evil spirits or negative energies. Why sage? Why do you recommend sage?
Sage is something that I have always used, and I was taught by my teachers, and it has a property that clears the energies. If you don't have sage, frankincense is also a good one, or a sandalwood. Those also clear negative energies. To me, I love the smell of sage, and it just kind of leaves a lighter feel in the house once you use it. And then another thing you can do too is, like, once you clear the energies, obsidian or onyx or something like that, just stones in the corner of each of the corner of the house, will help keep negative energies out. So that's another, it's a good thing, like once you cleanse, to kind of block those energies from coming in.
And why those rocks? Say those rocks again. What were they?
Obsidian or onyx. They're black. They repel negativity, and they're a good grounding stone. So if energies or emotions get high, it kind of grounds things and it keeps the negative energy out.
Yeah, I think it's so important that we find whatever solution. And I know some people are not comfortable talking about it in energies, and they're talking with their church. And so I'm curious, I know you have an opinion on holy water. Can holy water be used?
Absolutely. And you don't have to go get holy water out of church. You can make your own holy water, and you just use regular tap water and some kosher salt. And you set the intention. I hold it in my hands and I say a prayer. It could be like, God bless this water, Jesus bless this water, divine love bless this water, anything, whatever you feel comfortable saying, as long as that loving intent is going into it. But I will actually see when I'm doing it that, like, there's a light that begins within the water. But that is enough to cleanse the energy in the house. So if you don't want to use sage, if people have allergies, holy water is a great way to go as well. And you just spritz it around like you would wave the sage incense.
And sage is something that is pretty easily available. I know that even at like some of the health food markets, you can find sage. Where would you recommend someone to find sage?
Oh, you can find it pretty much anywhere online. But yeah, you can find it at any of the health food places. Oh gosh, I've seen it in so many just local stores lately. So I think the idea is catching on that, it's a great way to kind of cleanse, get rid of negative energies, or just make your house feel lighter and more welcoming.
And then what about the obsidian and the onyx? Where can you find that?
Yep, also online. Here locally in Bangor, we have a couple of rock shops where you can go and get crystals and stones and that sort of thing. So buy local when you can, but definitely you can buy it online as well.
Well, and that's one thing, you're talking about doing this, but we're talking about this in the realm of selling real estate, but it is something that you would recommend that people do on a pretty regular basis. Would you kind of talk about the reasons why? You had mentioned before about an argument that you had, meaning, I am assuming that you're meaning you created that negative energy in that house and it's still sitting there, right?
Right, absolutely. So whether you bring stress home from work, or a lot of us are working from home now, and the stress of that kind of hangs out in the air. Everything we do, every emotion we have has energy to it. So, if your significant other makes you mad and you have an argument, that energy is in the house. Or your kids are driving you crazy, that energy is in the house as well. So it is good. I try to do it every few months. to just kind of clear the energy of my house. And I always feel like it's lighter and more welcoming. And people feel comfortable coming into my house. And, I work with energies for a living. So kind of my door is always open to it. So I definitely cleanse on a regular basis.
And
I did. Oops, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and so you said that you think you should do it on a regular basis, because some people aren't sensitive, like you are sensitive and you notice the differences, but I think sometimes people just don't notice the difference. What would you suggest to help people notice what's happening when there's negative energy stuck there?
When you get to that point where you don't feel like you can relax in your house. If you're carrying that tension with you, even though you've come through the door from work, or if it just gets like it feels heavier to even breathe in the house, those are signs. You just kind of feel weighted down, or you feel tired and you're not sure why. I've worked with other people before where they actually felt sick, and then going in and cleansing their house and doing some energy clearing really made a huge difference. They had more energy themselves. So if you start to find yourself feeling tired or not feeling well, seize your house. It's not going to hurt anything, and it can only bring out a positive energy.
Yeah. And so what do you think about burning candles? A lot of times people say that's a good thing. Do you agree with that?
I do. I don't use candles very often. I have some melts that I use, but any scent that makes you feel good, aromatherapy, it all falls into that. So if you're burning a candle and it does have sage in it, then that's kind of double the whammy as far as good things. But yeah, especially if you're selling a home, a nice smell when you walk in is always welcoming. There was a home that a friend of mine, he's a realtor here in the local area. And it was interesting because this house was priced really low. Like, I had a small little Cape house, and this house was a 3-story house, gorgeous yard, garage and everything. And it was priced lower than what I purchased my house for. And you walk in and you could just feel this heaviness.
Oh. And it wasn't selling.
So I was able to help cleanse, and it wasn't selling. It had been on the market forever. And you look at it, it's a gorgeous house on the outside. You walk in, it's a gorgeous house. It had 3 stories, but I could feel it. The minute I walked in, you understood why it wasn't selling. But once we cleansed it and did that sort of thing, it got a lot more interest, and it eventually sold. So it's amazing what a little sage and a little positive intention can do.
Well, and I think that that's a constant thing, not only from a homeowner's point of view, looking out and trying to figure out what can I do to help my house be sold and get transferred to the next people. But a lot of times the transition is something that is not happening because the homeowner made a decision, meaning that it could be a divorce, which as you mentioned about arguments, but also sometimes, especially like last year in the 2020 with the pandemic, oh my gosh, there were so many people losing jobs, and that, they had some grace, but then a lot of them were deciding to sell because they weren't going to be able to keep up the payments on the bigger house. And so they're going to have to move to a different location or to a different house. And so they're very upset. And even sometimes I've seen ones where it's a death. So there's always some transition that's happening when people are selling a house. And I know that I just had one this past week where I was talking with my client. He was very upset about something that had happened. And I realized and it was just from the home inspection, but he was really, really angry. And it was so interesting because one of the things we were trying to do is I was trying to help him work through that anger. And it was interesting because that happens a lot where someone who's about to sell something, they start to really get angry. And then you see a transaction start to stop. There's these awful stops and then it won't go forward. What kind of things can you say to people to help them be more aware that they may be creating this negative energy?
Because, there is, especially, so I think people need to take care of their own energy and their own self. And I always recommend 3 deep breaths. If you start to feel yourself get agitated or irritated or angry, 3 long deep breaths. And I visualize white light coming down from above, it filling me up, extending beyond my body. I surround myself by the white light of divine love. And then I know I'm only projecting positive energy, because it is amazing. I mean, when we all think about our auras, whether you believe in that sort of thing or not, that you find people that you find yourself stepping closer to, and then those people you step away from. And it's not even a conscious thing. You're reacting to the energy of that person. So I do recommend people to take those deep breaths, visualize that white light, focus on just sending positive energy out. Because we all do. We get caught up in the stresses and the struggles of life, and it can wear you down.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things that we just need to do everything we can to really find the positivity in any situation. And selling a house is always a little bit stressful in a way that I think is unexpected for people until they start to do it. And yet we can all make it through. It's just a matter of confronting whatever challenges are in front of us. But again, I think it's important that we don't ridge and get angry and create negativity in one way or another. And everybody, like I said, with the holy water or whether you use sage, but finding a way to really put your intention on your house so that your house is really being cleared of that negative energy, so that it doesn't stagnate there, and it doesn't, other people are aware, even though they may not be able to confess it, I'm going to say, they are aware of when something is negative. So it's really important. And I've also seen it on the opposite side when someone's going to buy a house and they're like, oh my gosh, I've seen them walk into a house and then turn around and walk right back out and be like, oh my gosh, this place, there was something about it I just could not put my finger on. And what would you say for buyers who are coming into that situation? What can they do to be more aware when they walk into a house and they just can't put their finger on it, but it has that negative energy?
Yeah, I've done that when I was shopping for a house. There was one particular house that I can remember walking into, and it just didn't feel right. And this is without happening to my psychic abilities. Something just didn't feel right in this house. So I looked over the house objectively, because I know I can cleanse energies and clear the energies out. But it's still, be aware. So find out a history of a house if it's really, there's a lot of struggles, because if the price is really low, like that house I mentioned before, and you walk in, it's a heavy feeling, you don't know what you're buying. It could be a lot more than just the house. But for the most part, when you walk in, you should feel welcome. You should feel like there's a warm energy, a loving energy into the house that you're going to buy and make a home. So know that you can clear whatever energy is in there if you choose to buy the house. I can give you some tips and tricks, and I'll put it on my website as well, so people can go back and find out what to do. But yeah, it's trust your instincts. We all react to those energies.
Yeah, we do even know, like I said, a lot of us are just not aware of that. So speaking of which, I can't believe that time goes by so fast. How can people find out more about you and what you do and your website, social media, anything you want to share with them?
Okay, Angel Connection and the number 11.com is my website. And from there, you can find me on all the social media sites. There's links. So that's the best way to find me. And there's also a contact sheet, and your listeners can contact me with any questions that they have, and I'll get back to them. So angelconnection11.com.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Melissa. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show. And as I love what you do, thank you for all the things that you do to help others and to bring everyone's awareness up so that we can all put more of that good